God. Some of these white folks, like I keep saying in my videos, they will never change. Let it make sense to me. Absolutely let it make sense to me that a black man, a honorable black man, responsible black man, the ones that knows how to respect a woman, no matter the skin type, went into the gym doing his exercise. And he went to use the other side, coming back with all due respect. I don't, maybe when you guys watch, you guys will understand the part that I'm coming from, because I don't understand these people. Politely told you what you can normally, what some of these white folks would normally not do, to be polite in a public place. But this guy politely told you that, oh, please, that's my space, and I was not done. And the next thing, oh my God. Some of these people, I keep saying it, they need to come to these African countries and come and act the way they're acting. They should come to African countries and act the way they're acting. If not because this guy is cool, this guy can actually control his temper. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video and I'll be back with commentaries. Guys, watch and let me know what you think. Chat God.
I just got called the N-word. I was working out, as I always do, just minding my business. I needed to add a little bit more weight to the bar, so I went to a different weight rack to get some weights to add to the bar. When I came back, a young Hispanic lady was adjusting the bench that I was using, and I approached her and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm still using this, I'm not done." And she looked at me and she looked a little bit annoyed, and she said, "Oh, you're not done?" And I told her, "No, I'm not yet." And she called me a string of names. The only name that she called me that was offensive was the N-word. I paused for a second before asking her, "Did you just call me the N-word?" And she wouldn't look at me. She didn't say yes. She didn't say no. She didn't try to defend herself, but she didn't also double down. And so I asked her again, "I'm sorry, did you just call me the N-word?" And I'm moving, like she's trying to move around, and I'm moving in her way because address me. She didn't address me. And in the meantime, she was kind of putting stuff back the way that it was, but she was clearly annoyed. And I don't know what she said, but she began mumbling again. I couldn't hear her, and I couldn't read her lips because she had on a hoodie. I couldn't really see her face very well at that point. And so I couldn't guarantee that she wasn't still calling me the N-word. So I got louder and I told her, "Don't you ever call me the N-word. Don't you ever let that word slip out your mouth." Now, I'm sure y'all are probably thinking, why didn't you cuss her out? Why didn't you, drag her to hell and back? I'm one of the least violent people I know. I'll just put it that way. And I don't actually believe in matching energy. So I really didn't want to have any kind of confrontation or altercation with that young lady. But I draw the line of disrespect at the N-word. You can call me just about anything else, and I don't care. But do not call me the N-word. And this is just an announcement. This is a PSA. If you are not black, this is not just for white people. This is for all people who are not black. Do not use the N-word. You do not have blanket permission to go up to anyone and everyone and use that word. As a matter of fact, if you're not black, I don't know why you want to use that word. It doesn't make sense to me. And there's nothing you can say to make it make sense. If a black person has told you they're cool with it, that only applies to them. They have not the power to give you permission to call any and every other black person the N-word. PSA over. So I did say those words. I didn't want to get physical. Obviously, she's a lady and she was quite petite at that. And I'm not like super huge. I'm tall, but I'm not like, super stocky or anything. But I am a man, and I understand that in itself can be quite menacing. So I decided, the most I'm gonna do is just raise my voice. I wanted to make sure that she could hear me because she had some earbuds in, and I didn't know if she had her music blasting to the point where she couldn't hear me or not. But I wanted to make sure she could hear me, so I raised my voice a little bit. I'm not a yeller, but I did raise my voice. And I also wanted the people around us to know, because I believe in public shaming. So everyone around us is going to know you just called me the N-word. And she walked off. Like I said, she was mumbling under her breath a little bit. Couldn't make out what she was saying, but she never addressed me. And she just kind of walked off. But so I think I feel like my job was done. I'm okay. I'm proud of how I handled that because I was livid. I was actually very angry, and I got through those sets because of that anger. That frustration came out of me, and I took it out all on those weights. But yeah, please, I know that y'all are using this word amongst your group of friends, amongst your family. And the reason why I know is because it rolls off your tongue so easily when you're actually angry or when you're actually addressing a black person, especially one that you don't know and who has pissed you off. So my recommendation would be to stop using that word. Just don't use it. Then you don't have to worry about being in public because you caught the right one on the right day. I'm, like I said, nonviolent, so I wasn't going to put my hands on you, but do that with somebody else, and I can't guarantee that won't happen. And I admit I won't feel bad. If it does come to fisticuffs, I'm just going to look the other way.
So I was called the N-word for the first time in the past 29 years of me living. First time as a black man being called the N-word. Making a turn, had my windows down, making a turn, and just hear it straight out the window. Boom, nigger. I ain't gonna lie, it took me through an array of emotion. I would say, if this is the person who did call me that, if this person comes across that did call me that, I appreciate it, man. You just let my ego grow a whole lot bigger. And I love the skin on men. I love being black. I love being me. I love being a human being. I love being fit. I love the person that I am 24/7. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Peace.
In less than 24 hours of us being in Marrakesh, we were spat at, called the N-word, and groped. So I guess it's a story time. This was us making our way to the restaurant, and a couple of minutes away from there we were by the traffic lights. A beggar came through to ask for money. We didn't have any cash on us, and just as the lights went green for us to go, the beggar spat. He was aiming to spit at my friend who was in the front seat, the guy. So as the car was moving, when he spat, the spit ended up hitting my friend who was sat on the left hand side of me. I had like a little splash of it on me, but not as much as she did. So the night already started off with such bad energy. Now in the comments there were people saying, oh, the Moroccans were saying neri neri, which means wow. No, if you listen, my friend was saying nearly. What he was saying is we are nearly there. He was so excited to be taking us to this restaurant. Hence, we were recording the alleyway, so when we get to the restaurant, it would just be a lovely surprise of what it was like on the inside. I'm so grateful to my friend and the restaurant manager for going back out while we sat and ate dinner. We were just exhausted from just that bit of the evening that happened, where the first bit, the spit, and then now the N-words. That's why I did not react. I just thought it wasn't worth it, and also we're in a different country and just don't know how that's gonna escalate. And so the guys dealt with the situation the way that they wanted to, and as they should, and that ended. We had a lovely evening, as you can see in the video here. We had a great evening. We danced, we made some new friends, we left. The following day, my friend gets groped. The following day was Eid as well. I think that she is in a better position to explain, but I was there when the groping happened, and that was, quite shocking. The rest of the trip sort of left us feeling on edge and feeling like we wonder what's going to come out of the woodworks next. I travel quite a lot, and I've never experienced anything of such magnitude. I don't use the N-word. I've never been called the N-word. The people in my circle do not use the word. We don't use that word to refer to each other. So to be going through the comments and people saying, well, that's how you guys refer to each other. Well, I don't. And or that the guy had no idea what he was saying. to say that someone had no idea about what they were saying, but when asked to repeat it in the video, they couldn't, it means that they have an idea what they're trying to say.
Nearly. Oh, you my brother. I know. What's that again?
I'm just going to leave it as that, but also say thank you to those who have been very empathetic about the situation. I've moved on. Of course, it hurts. But again, as we usually do, we just pick up and go.
Kind of confrontation or altercation with that young lady, but I draw the line of disrespect at the N-word.
So what are you telling us for on the internet if you're not going to do nothing about it? And I'm not saying that he should get violent or try to match her energy, because I actually think that that is the intelligent thing to do. I'm an advocate for people, especially black people with the reputation that we have, and flying off the handle and everything becoming so crazy and stuff. I actually am going to applaud him and saying that him keeping his composure and not being emotional and letting his emotions drive his actions is the intelligent thing to do. What I think he should have done is he should have alerted whoever it was that owned the gym that this happened, and he should have took it up with them instead of taking it up with us on the internet. Now, I'm very thankful that he took it up with us on the internet, because it gives me more of an opportunity to talk about something had I not been informed or aware of it. But people need to start taking action, intelligent action. The best way for you to solve for a problem is to bring visibility to it in person at the time that it happens, and let it be addressed accordingly. And if it's not addressed accordingly, then you start to escalate the issue. The one thing that I will say, and I didn't get a chance to read the comments on this one because I'm just reacting to it in real time. The minute that y'all sent it to me and I looked at the title, I said, let me throw the problem, is to bring visibility to it in person at the time that it happens, and let it be addressed accordingly. And if it's not addressed accordingly, then you start to escalate the issue. The one thing that I will say, and I didn't get a chance to read the comments on this one because I'm just reacting to it in real time. The minute that y'all sent it to me and I looked at the title, I said, let me throw this in a queue and we're going to have this conversation, is I'm pretty sure that there's people inside of the chat like, oh, you should have did this to her, or you should have read her rights, or the riot act. The thing that I'm always an advocate for is to control your emotions. Control your emotions, especially as a man. If you cannot control your emotions, if any little thing that somebody says forces you to fly off the handle, and I know there's going to be people that disagree with me inside of the comments, but if anything, any little thing that you say cause you to fly off the handle and you can't control yourself, then you need to go back to the drawing board, because there's a ton of things that's going to happen in life, on the internet, at the gym, at your job, in the streets, while you at the grocery store, with your family, at Thanksgiving dinner, that could possibly offend you or, impact you in a way. And what I've learned and what I've been able to dedicate myself to is to change how I react to things, because, and it may be because I had a strong father in my life, that life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you react to it. I'm never going to give somebody what they want when they're offensive, right? I'm always going to strategically think myself through it. And I always believe that life is a chess game. We're not playing checkers, we playing chess. And so you got to think 10 moves ahead. What's the outcome that I want to happen from this? And thank God it wasn't a white woman, it was a young Hispanic woman, because we would have probably been rioting wherever it is that he's at, or they would have called Al Sharpton and the NAACP, as weak as they are and as useless as they are. They would have called any of these organizations and they would have been demanding. So, there's people that are racist. There's people that are bigoted. There's people that are disrespectful. You can't fight everybody, and you got to start being more intelligent about it. But what I would have done is escalated the issue at the gym itself where it happened, because she got to go. And if she's not going, then I got to go, because I'm not going to patronize a place that continues to allow for certain behaviors to continue on. Do I think that it's worth for you to, jump off the bridge for? Absolutely not. Stay in control. Don't even worry about what everybody else is talking about, and get your bag, get your lift on, and stay in purpose. Again, I'm going to give kudos to him, because where a lot of other people would have made a crazy scene about it, he kept his composure. I need to see what.
Hispanic community, I'm really trying to understand why y'all keep having this why is this such a difficult concept of can I use the N-word or not? If you're not predominantly black or of African ancestry, the answer is no. If you ain't black, don't say it. Like, why is this? And this man right here, Mr. Eddie, sir, I don't know what you were on, because no, if you're not black, don't say it. I think it was this person, like, if you're not using the hard ER, it's the same word, babe. It has the same meaning. If you're not black, don't say it. Well, then black people should stop saying it to themselves. Absolutely. We have internal trauma that we need to heal from our community. So until then, you don't get to hit me just because I hit myself occasionally. You don't. Period. Every community has their own slur. If you want to make it popularized, because everybody says that it's so popular, it's in music, make your own music then. Make your slur popular if it's truly what you want. But that's not what you want for a reason, which is why those who actively care about the black community don't want you to say it. But my cousin don't care, because your cousin knows you as a person and knows that you're not intentionally trying to harm them. That's lovely. That's wonderful. That doesn't mean that you're intentionally out here trying to harm all people. That doesn't mean that's what we think because we don't want you to say it. We don't want you to say it because it's a racial slur and we understand the meaning of the word regardless of how you mean it. I don't mean it racially. Anytime a non-black person says that word, period, to a black person or to a non-black person, it will always have racial context and undertones regardless of how you mean it. I never mean it racist with my homies. It always, every single time, will have some form of racial undertone or context, period, or you wouldn't use the word, you would use a different word, period. It's not because it's popularized. It's not because everybody and their mama uses it. It's not because black people use it, because then it would be a word that only black people use. All the black people are using the word, then it would be a word that only black people use. It's not that only the black people are saying it. That's the issue. So I'm confused as to how we keep having to have these panels and these conversations about a word that wasn't used to dehumanize you. That word, everybody globally knows exactly who that word was used to dehumanize and to target. And we also know that there are slurs for every single community, unfortunately. And unfortunately, most communities don't even have just one. Let's keep it $1.55. So if we want to talk about making stuff popular and it's because it's so mainstream, do that. But you don't want to do that. And we, if I'm keeping it $1.50, are working very hard to undo that. But it's very difficult because people like this man say, well, the N-word's not going to go away. No, because you keep saying it and passing it down. How can it if you're having panels defending it? The word's not going to go away. We're not asking for the word to go away. We're asking for you to stop saying it. Doesn't mean it stop existing. Doesn't mean... Like, I just don't understand why this has to be a continuous conversation. It's exhausting being black. I would not trade it for the world, I promise, but it is exhausting.
Mi gente Latina, do you realize what you are doing every time you use the N-word? And so many of you are doing that. And so many more of you, even in your content, are donning black scents. You put on this like caricature of what you think a sassy black woman sounds like to make even content and to go out in the world. Like, do you realize you are alienating people that could be allies, and you're attracting a different kind of people? If you believe in liberation, like if you want to fight for liberation, if you want to fight for actual freedom, if you want a world that is full of equality and opportunity for all people, then you need to work with others. And in order to work with others, all of that, those relationships have to be based on mutual respect. And respect, it's not given, it's earned. So with your words, you've got to earn the respect of people who can be your allies. I'm speaking very specifically here, if you didn't get it already, about the black community. So Latinos, do you want to alienate the black community? Because let me tell you, any fight for liberation, we can't win it without them. They've been at this for a lot longer than any of us have. And they know how to get results. Just the truth. And if you don't care about liberation and freedom and you think the world is just hunky-dory as it is, and why are you still watching this video? Get off my page. Go, scroll. But I do believe that most of you, your heart is in the right place. You want to fight the good fight, right? So if that's you, please elevate your speech. Elevate this, your brain, your mouth, the words that come out of it. Take your communication to the next level. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want KKK mofos like on my fucking page. I don't want to interact with those people. But if you're out here using the N word, you're out here with the black scent, who are you attracting? Is that what you want? Not to mention the fact that you're stealing something that's not yours and it's not cute. It's not funny. You might think you're being funny. It's not funny. Maybe it was funny in middle school to some of your immature friends. It's no longer funny.
Hispanics, more specifically non-black Latinos and Hispanics, will pretend that the N-word is not offensive, but then get offended by being called something like Latinx. Non-black Latinos will pretend that the N-word is not offensive, but then get offended when you ask them to not use the N-word. A common thing that you'll hear Latinos say when they're called out for using the N-word is, well, if I can't use it, they can't use it either. They referring to black people. And that begs the question, why do you want to say it so much? Latinos, you have so many alternatives to use. Latinos have a whole other language of words that they can use instead of the N-word, like fu, ese, whatever you want. But instead you choose the N-word. And it's one thing to use the N-word and then change your language when somebody tells you it's not okay. It's another thing to defend your use of the N-word because you're too lazy to expand your vocabulary. And a lot of Latinos will go on and say, well, it's not that big a deal, you know? I have black friends and I say it around them and they don't mind. And that's fine. Sure, if your black friends are okay with you saying that, that's them. But let's be honest. If you are a non-black person using the N-word, you are very careful with who you use that word around. Because you know that the moment you use it around the wrong person, that you will get checked. And it won't be as nice as somebody telling you to not use the word anymore. Let's stop playing dumb. I heard somebody say that if we can't use the N-word, then black people can't eat tacos. As if eating some culture's culinary items is the equivalent of using a racial derogatory slur that was meant to dehumanize people. It is not the same. It is not an equivalency. Don't play dumb, because the moment you try to defend your use of the N-word and you are non-black, all you do is let other people know that you aren't playing. You're just actually dumb.
Latino saying the N-word, let's talk about it. Because growing up in California, specifically LA, you have the people who understand why you shouldn't say it. What's the point of you saying it? You're not supposed to say it. That is not yours for you to say. And then those that just throw it around like a good morning. This morning I saw a video of Jenny 69, who was canceled, by the way, having beef with Alan Ice, and this is very Latino coded. And she said, like, I don't want to talk about him. Me and that are done or fell out, whatever the case may be. And I'm just like, no mames. That's what we're doing. And I mean, granted, she's a Trumper, so I shouldn't be surprised. But the ignorance, and seriously, like, I just want to take this moment to tell Latinos that is not ours to say. That is not our word to say. Leave it alone, drop it. That just how we have words that we don't want other people to say to us, we cannot be throwing this thing around like that. Like, that is not ours.
Okay. Okay. Don't know if some of these people will come and try that nonsense they are trying in this place. It's paining me that this guy is just so cool, just so gentle. I applaud him for that. Honestly, I really do applaud him for that. Because I don't think it's every single person you're going to say that to and then you get away with it. I don't know. These people literally know that. They literally know that they're not supposed to call any black folks the N word. They know. They knew it. But the demon inside of them, I keep saying it. It's not everybody that you see that you think is okay, the person is okay. They have some different spirits that is working inside of them. You understand? And that is why some of them will literally not learn until people have to react to them a certain way before they will now start regretting. Now, I've seen this man that is literally being kind, nice enough not to give her a dirty slap and deaf one part of her ears, but just to warn her and tell her, don't ever try this again. She will still go and try it on that person because the lesson has not really been taught. But let's look at the origin of the N word. The N word has a long and a painful history. Its origin is tied directly to colonization, slavery, and racial hierarchy, which is one, linguistic origin. The N word evolved from earlier word used to describe people of Africa, Latin or niggers, meaning blacks, proudly roughly niggers, British and Portuguese Negroes, meaning blacks, used by European explorers and slave trade beginning in the 1400s. Earlier English adaptation of Negroes, niggers, and the N word. As the slave trade expanded, English speakers altered those words during the 16th to 17th centuries. The diaglotry from the N word emerged and how it became a slur. Even though the origin root means simply black, the meaning changed because of how Europeans and Americans use the words in practice. The N word became a slur because one, it was used to dehumanize Africans, sorry. It was used to dehumanize enslaved Africans. It was just a description. It was used to imply property, inferiority, subhuman status. Enslaved people were listed in sales documents using the N word. It was used during lynchings, violence, and Jim Crow segregation. White supremacy group and everyday institution use these words as a tool of a terror or control. It was used in laws, medias, and culture to justify discrimination. Old newspapers, courts, ruling, and even scientific racism use the N word as a way to mark a black person as inferior. Why do some black people use the N word today? This is complex cultural topics. One, reclaiming. Some black community repel and repronounce it as a form in group language, stripping some of their harms from their word. Two, solidarity. Within black communities, it can express familiarity or shared experience. Non-universal. Many black people strongly oppose any use of the word even within the community. Important note from non-black people using the word reactivate its history of violence and oppression. So it is widely considered unacceptable. The N word comes from Latin, Spanish or Portuguese word. It becomes a slur because it was used during slavery and segregation to dehumanize black people. It carries centuries of violence and oppression. Modern usage varies, but it remains one of the most harmful and sensitive words in English language. But these people will not listen and not to use the N word. I tell you guys that these people literally wish for every single person to go back to slavery so that they can still be on top. In fact, these people still wish for modern day slavery as far as I'm concerned. But we are literally not going to give them. See, anybody that use the N word on you, honestly, if you go feel beat them, I know if shots. I know if shots. Too much of keeping quiet is bad, but anyways, we do not support any form of violence. Do not fight. Do not beat anybody. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches you have in our today's episode. And yes, with no further ado, I do Adula Kolese in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Thank you for supporting, liking, sharing, commenting. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do Adula Kolese in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.